Hi everyone! In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to draw a realistic glass in Procreate, and after that, we'll do no less than 5 different illustrations around it. To use the Symmetry tool, as I do here, go to Prefs, turn on the Drawing Guide, then Edit Drawing Guide and choose Symmetry. Don't worry too much about the upper part of the glass. We're gonna cover that with a new layer in about 5 seconds. We can turn off the Symmetry tool now. Also click the layer and uncheck the Drawing Assist option. Then, create a new layer, draw an ellipse for the rim of the glass, and fill it with color. Make sure this ellipse is well aligned with the corners of the glass, and use the Transform tool to move it around if you need to. Now alpha lock the layers to make sure you're only gonna draw within the existing boundaries. Choose a texture brush and start shading your layers with a background color, in this case black. This is the easiest way to draw a transparent object. If the background would have been pink, we would have used pink for shading at this step. The brush I'm using is one of my own. I have a tutorial on the channel showing you how to create it. Or you can use the Procreate noise brush instead. Create a new clipping mask layer and use the monoline and white to draw the highlights on the glass. I usually do this differently by selecting the highlight areas with the selection tool and then use a shading brush on top of it, but I thought it might be easier for you to use the monoline. This is probably the most important step of the process, so make sure you take your time on it. And of course, once you learn how this works, you can pretty much use this method to draw any glass object. The best way to learn how to place those highlights is to take a photo of an object and study it as much as you can. See where the shadows are placed and where the light hits the most. Now lock the layer and use the eraser tool with the shading brush to turn down some of that opacity. I'm adding some details and I'm using the selection tool here to make sure I get really crisp edges. Add a few more details with the same brush on a smaller size, and we can agree this already started to look like a glass. Let's add some lights to the upper part and continue painting them on the first layer. To select a layer with a finger touch, as I do here, go to Actions, Prefs, Gesture Controls, and on the Layer Select option, choose Touch. This is quite optional, but I am adding some more black shading to enhance the volume of the glass. Okay, now that the glass is ready, it's time to start our first illustration. We're going to draw a small plant. Let's start by drawing the soil. Again, I'm using my own brushes. I promise they will be available for you really soon. Until then, you can use some basic texture Procreate brushes instead. It is really important here to place the layer under the highlight, just on top of the glass shape, and make it a clipping mask. I suggest you to pause the video every time I'm showing my layers and take a good look on how they are placed. Now create a new layer on top of everything and let's start drawing our plant. You don't absolutely need to have so many layers for the plant, but I'm used to working like this, so I can transform the illustration easily in case I need to. Also, as I keep telling you, it makes the shading so much easier. Instead of these leaves, you can combine this glass illustration with many of my tutorials. Maybe add some tulips or roses instead, or even a fruit. Draw as many details as you want on the leaves, and don't forget to erase the small part where the stem intersects the rim of the glass, so the plant will look like being placed inside the glass. Then start adding the shading to give this plant some volume. I won't take you through this process because I'm pretty sure you already know how to do this. When you're ready, group the glass layers and duplicate that group to make a reflection. This is optional, of course, but it will make your illustration look so much better. Merge the reflection group, flip it using the transform tool, and use warp to reshape it. As a last step, I'm taking down the opacity of the layer and erase some parts of it to make it less perfect. That's our first illustration and the most complicated of them all. Before we start the second one, we'll have to merge the plant layers and enable them. Also, enable the soil layer inside the glass. We will be replacing them with new drawings to create a new illustration. To start our second drawing, create a new layer on top of the glass. Here, I'm using one of my own brushes again, sorry about that. You can use the Procreate Flix brush instead. You'll find it in the spray paint section. With a light yellow color, let's draw some magical dust rising from the glass. Now, create a new layer under the highlights of the glass, just near the soil layer that we did on our previous illustration. And let's continue filling the glass with this golden sparkling dust. The third illustration is even easier to do. Enable the golden dust layers and create 2 more layers just above each of them. Now, choose a light blue color and go to the Elements section and pick the crystal brush. This one comes with Procreate, so you absolutely have it. To be honest, this brush is a little tricky to use, so it might take you a while to draw the crystals just as you want them. Use the undo command, I also did that. The stones will also look amazing on light pink, purple, red, blue, yellow, white. In fact, you can make them on any color and they will look good. For the fourth illustration, repeat the same steps as before and choose the clouds brush. You'll find it just under the crystal brush. Use it to draw this beautiful smoke coming out of the glass. For the fifth illustration, we'll use one of my favorite Procreate brushes, the flame brush. You'll find it on the Elements section too. Can you see the pattern here? I've used it before and I know you guys like it as much as I do. The trick with this brush is to choose a darker color than you think you would need. In this case, to make yellowish flames, I have to use dark orange. This one is so satisfying to draw with. You can add some blue hints on top of the flames to make the fire look more real. Just as we did with the plant, we'll have to erase the small portion where the flames intersect the rim of the glass. I'm also adding some white on a new layer on top of the flames, because this fire would bring some more light into the glass. Thank you so much if you had the patience to watch this tutorial till the end. I can't wait to see which of these 5 illustrations is your favorite. Please let me know in a comment. I promise, all of them are really easy to recreate, so give them a try. I would be really happy to see your recreations, so don't forget to tag me on your Instagram posts. See you soon with a new tutorial.